Hey everybody, this is Peter with Tabletop Gaming Guild, and I am so excited to be taking a look at a brand new book from Free League Publishing. They recently sent me the Runes of Symbaroum Adventure Compendium, and for those of you who maybe haven't played the game or you haven't heard about it yet, Runes of Symbaroum is the 5th edition version of a game previously released by Free League Publishing just called Symbaroum. It had its own setting and lore and rules, and they decided they wanted to make that setting available to more players. And what better way to do that than to translate that game into the 5th edition rule set, which a lot of people today have played or at least know about, and maybe it's a little bit of an easier entryway for people. So Free League created Runes of Symbaroum, and they released a Game Master's Guide, a Player's Guide, and a Bestiary for that game within the last year or so. And now they're releasing this Adventure Compendium, which is just a series of adventures for you, the Game Master, to run for your players. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the book down to the table, we'll open it up, we'll do a little review of what all is inside there, and then we'll come back up and I'll give you my final thoughts on the Runes of Symbaroum Adventure Compendium. All right, everybody, so we're down to the table with Runes of Symbaroum Adventure Compendium. Let's flip it over, read the back, learn a little bit more about what's inside. With the Runes of Symbaroum game line, the acclaimed setting of Symbaroum comes to the world's most popular role-playing game rules. This book presents 7 low to medium level adventures, perfect for introducing game masters and players to the game world and the special rules created as an addition to the 5th edition OGL rule set. The Runes of Symbaroum Adventure Compendium will invite you to everything from murder mysteries to forest expeditions and witch hunts, set in cities, villages, and expanses of wilderness, treating you to encounters with dark-minded cultists, roaring monstrosities, and raging abominations. Yes, the adventures of this tome do a great job of exemplifying the wide variety of stories that are waiting to be told in the world of Symbaroum. The Adventure Compendium contains 7 full-length adventures ranging from levels 1 to 8, the settlements Castor, Ravinia, and Prios Pass, 13 mystical artifacts and a dozen color maps to explore, an introduction to the Pantheon of the Young Gods. Note that this book requires access to the Runes of Symbaroum core settings books, the Player's Guide, Game Master's Guide, and Bestiary. So that is what the back of the book tells us about what's inside. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what it looks like. All right, so the first thing we're going to come to is our title page. All the names listed of everybody who took part in creating this awesome book. And then we get to our table of contents with the names of the 7 adventures inside. We have The Promised Land, The Mark of the Beast, Tomb of Dying Dreams, Fever of the Hunt, The Bell Tolls for Castor, The Howling of Damned Gods, and What's Bred in the Bone. Again, the book is followed up with an appendix that includes some new spells, artifacts, that Pantheon of Young Gods, some handouts, and player maps as well. All right, so the next page is actually something we're going to sit on for just a moment because they give us a really great preface to the book. And it kind of reads almost as a kind of like a mission statement for what it is you're going to be getting and how they want you to use it and why they even created it in the form that they did. And so I'm going to read 3 of the paragraphs from this preface to you because I think it's going to really help you understand what it is you're going to be getting with this book. So it's talking about the different adventures and what they're trying to accomplish. So the first 3 adventures constitute a series of tutorial scenarios specifically designed as a way of introducing you to Runes of Symbaroum. The Promised Land introduces the players to the setting and the base rules. The Mark of the Beast takes a firm grip on the rules of problem solving by giving the player characters a chance to unravel a gruesome murder plot, while Tomb of Dying Dreams takes them on an expedition to the resting place of a long-dead king in the depths of the forest of Davokar. As for the level of challenge, these adventures have been designed for low-level characters. The 2 adventures that follow deal directly with the central theme of the Symbaroum game world, the conflict between civilization and nature. In Fever of the Hunt, the digging and looting of treasure-seeking humans threatens to awaken a feud between 2 ancient powers. If this happens, and if the player characters fail to act, the bloody effects will likely be felt far beyond the borders of the forest. And in the Bell Tolls of Castor, a cult of monster worshippers who recently managed to outsmart and defeat a rival sorcerer's cult have taken control of the town and are brutally searching for information that can help them return their monstrous dragon lord from the Yonder world. As a suggestion, these scenarios are suitable for characters of 4th or 5th level. And the final 2 adventures deal with Ambrian politics. In this case, the plots are related to the growing schism within the Ambrian Sun Church between followers of the Lawgiver and the Life Giver. The Howling of Damned Gods is about the relocation of a convicted heretic from a prison in Old Albiator to the dungeons beneath Templewell. While What's Bred in the Bone starts off as a murder inquiry but develops into an armed conflict between the 2 religious factions. Which side the player characters align with, if any, is completely up to the players. So I think this preface is incredibly important. That's why I wanted to read straight from the book for you in telling you what these adventures are going to be doing for you as a game master, for you and for your players. So it gives you a really good breakdown of what they wanted to accomplish with it. And now we'll just keep on flipping through so I can show you a little bit more about the layout of the book itself. All right, so now as I continue to flip through the book, I'm not going to be giving any more information about the adventures themselves. I'm going to leave that for you to discover if and when you buy the book. But I do want to show you the layout and, again, what I think is the great quality that Free League always brings to each and every one of their books. So let's go ahead and flip the page because we're going to see a really great example of that now. Each of the adventures, when you get to the page right before you read everything, is a double spread. They do double spreads a lot as they get to different chapters in a lot of Free League books. I think this one is really, really nice, and they do it for each of these adventures. On the right-hand side, you're going to get the nice big title of the adventure itself with a little piece of art. And then you're going to get down here the levels that adventure is for. So we have the Promised Land for levels 1 through 2. Over here on the left, though, of each of these double spreads, we get a nice little bit of almost fiction that introduces you to the idea of the adventure itself. And you get this really great illustration here for the first letter. I love that. It reminds me a little bit, again, of the Book of Kells or something along those lines. It's just a nice little flourish that Free League brings to it. But again, the other thing that I love here, and I don't know how well this is going to show up in the video though, is the ends of the pages. You see this nice little rainbow color effect that they've got going. Each of the different colors is one of the adventures or sections of the book. So it's a nice way to quickly help you find where the adventure begins and ends that you might be running for your players. Something that is not included in this book, though, is what a lot of Free League publishing books have, and that's the ribbon that they give you for bookmarks. So instead of having a bookmark in this book, though, they do give you this nice rainbow color effect. And that's going to, again, help you find each of the different sections of the book. And I think that's fantastic. I really like that addition. So the adventures themselves range anywhere from maybe 10 to 24 pages or so. So some of them are a little bit shorter than others. Some of them you're probably going to be able to sit down and play through in a single session. Others of these adventures are probably going to take you more like 2 to 3 sessions to play through the full adventure. But as you flip over from the title page of each adventure, you're going to get another little bit about what this adventure is about and what it's supposed to be doing for you and your players. And then you get your introduction and the rest of the adventure. They do a really good job of giving you some of this boxed area, giving you some information about the text that you're reading below and explaining things a little bit better. And again, you do get nice works of art throughout. You're going to be getting some stat blocks for some of the NPCs and monsters that the players will be coming up against or interacting with. So that's nice because they don't have the stat blocks at the end of the book that, like a lot of these adventure books will do. They'll give you all of the text, and then way at the back is an appendices or an appendix that has the monsters and the NPCs and their stat blocks. In this book, it's right here where you need it. So in this portion where you're going to actually be talking or going up against caravan guards is the stat block for the caravan guards. So I like that a lot more than having an appendix that I have to go to at the end of the book to keep finding that information. Because if I'm running the adventure and I've got the book right in front of me, my stat block is right where I am in the adventure itself. So I like that about the layout as well. We get some really great maps here for the adventure. So this is going to help you're obviously not going to be able to play the game right here on this map, but it gives you a great reference for either drawing your own map or maybe photocopying this and enlarging it, however it is that you want to go about making your maps for your adventures. But that's right there as well. Again, another stat block right next to where you need it about the character, that the NPC that the players are going to be interacting with. And then each of the kind of sections of the book have their own little kind of chapter heading. So we're still inside the first adventure, with the first adventure again being the Promised Land. But when you get into each portion of the adventure, it has its own little title heading. So onward to Yonders, and then they have that over here as well at the top. You get into your next portion, in the Company of Thieves, and that's in the Company of Thieves is up here. So each one of these sections has its own nicely kind of fonted chapter title, and again, a description of what you're going to be doing in that portion of the adventure. So very well laid out. Every adventure is just like this, and there are 7 of them, and they're going to be taking you from levels 1 all the way up through level 8, with again the first 3 adventures being kind of a series or a trilogy of adventures that you can play your way through, learning how to play the Runes of Symbaroum. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to do for you in the review here of the book. I wanted to show you the layout of the book itself. Again, here we go with the next adventure. You have the Mark of the Beast. You've got the levels that it's for. You have your bit of fiction or text here that's introducing you to the adventure itself. And then you get into the adventure with its nice layout, its introduction, and then each of its separate chapters within that adventure itself. So this is a really beautifully laid out book. The finish on the pages is more of kind of a satiny feel. It is not, or glossy feel. It's not like some of their other books they've got. It's not like Vesson, where it's a very cottony paper feel. It's glossy, but it's also not super duper heavy, because this is not a really massive book. They kept the adventures to, I feel like, a good length. You don't want your adventures to go so long that it's going to take the games master ages and ages to prep to run for their players. You want to keep these things to a relatively short length. Again, probably anywhere from like 12 to 24 pages long for each one of these adventures. So that's it. That's what I wanted to show you. Again, here at the very end of the book, you do get the appendix that has all of the handouts that you might need for some of the adventures, as well as you get some information about some of the artifacts that they've included for the book. And then the other thing is, I'm always excited about, they did create some new spells for the game as well. So for your spellcasters, there are some new spells included also with this book. So everybody, that is our look through Runes of Symbaroum Adventure Compendium. Let's go ahead and come up from the table, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this book. All right, everybody, so we're back up from the table, and we've just taken a look at Runes of Symbaroum Adventure Compendium. First off, who is this book for? This book is not for a player of Runes of Symbaroum. This book is for the game master of Runes of Symbaroum. So if you're a player and you want to purchase it for your game master, I highly recommend you do so. This will be a great encouragement for them to continue running the game for you, or if you want them to run Runes of Symbaroum for you and they haven't even jumped into the game yet, this might be another way to get them encouraged to do so. If you're a game master and you're already running Runes of Symbaroum and you're looking for some great examples of adventures, this is definitely the book for you. In this book, you have 7 well-constructed adventures that you can run for your players, or that you can just read to get some creativity going for your your own games that you might be writing yourself. So I highly recommend this book to anyone who is running already Runes of Symbaroum, wants to run Runes of Symbaroum, or you want your friend to run Runes of Symbaroum for you. Get it for them as a gift. Everybody, I hope this video has helped, that it has excited you, that it has encouraged you to look into Free League Publishing if you haven't already. Definitely check out all the wonderful games that they have created and that they are selling over at freeleaguepublishing.com, or you can head down to your friendly local game store and see if they have any Free League Publishing books there as well. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like, maybe subscribe to our channel. You can also go over to tabletopgamingguild.com to learn a little bit more about us. So everybody, thank you for watching, and until we talk again, keep on playing games.